Hello, welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. Anyone that's watching on YouTube will notice that James is not with me. Don't worry, James is alive and well, and we haven't fallen out. Hi, James. I don't think he'd be listening. As you all know, we went on a bit of a hiatus. We sort of came to a sort of natural end with the show where we'd kind of run out of steam a little bit, and it changed a lot from what we really did was the Most Dangerous Podcast in the first place. And we thought we need to stop because we're going to end up hating it and hating each other. It's becoming a chore, and so we did that. So we've been working on a new project that realistically we're probably not going to start now till January. We've had a lot going on. James moved house, so he's not really been in a position to record. His head's been well and truly up his arse. But I spoke to him the other day and I said, look, I'm missing recording. I'm missing putting episodes out. So I'm going to carry on with the Most Dangerous Podcast just now. It's going to be slightly different, probably shorter episodes. I'm going to format them a little bit different because obviously I'm doing it on my own. And I just want to keep things going. I miss you guys. I had a few people messaging me saying, where's the pod gone? I had a lovely message from Roundtable Mindset Podcast, and they have given us some ideas, actually. They suggested some ideas for episodes, and it sort of sparks James and I to have a little chat about possibly reviving the show, but in its original form. Now that we're a lot more confident with podcasts, we think we can go back to the original form and make a real better fight of it. So here tonight, what you're going to hear is my Most Dangerous Podcast. It's going to be a short story. There is a slight element of fiction in it. So it's a fictional story based on a true story. I think it'll work. I don't know. Maybe it won't. You can tell me. Just let me know if it's shite. So here we go. It's going to be the new series of the Most Dangerous Podcast. Short episodes, just Fraser. James may be back in some form. We'll see. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Most Dangerous Podcast. This is the story of the rat and the man. There are methods of punishment that make you question what it means to be human. Things so depraved, so meticulously cruel, that they seem designed not just to hurt the body, but to shred the soul. Tonight, I want you to imagine yourself in a place where screams echo longer than prayers, where the walls sweat with fear, and the line between life and death blurs into something far worse. It's said that in times of war and vengeance, men have turned to nature's most desperate creatures to do their dirty work. And one man, whose name history forgot, would learn what true horror really means. Our story tonight comes from the words of a witness, a guard who was there, who saw it all. He never gave his name, but what he described stayed with him for the rest of his life. I can still smell it, the rot, the damp straw, the metallic stench of blood that never really leaves a place like that. They brought him in that morning, accused of betrayal. A traitor, they said. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. It didn't matter. They wanted an example, something others would never forget. I was ordered to prepare the cage. At first, I didn't understand. It wasn't a cage for a man. It was a small, barely big enough for a rat. Then I saw the bucket. We kept the rats in the cellar. They thrived down there. Fat things, swollen from feeding on corpses and scraps. You could hear them moving beneath the floorboards at night. A whispering sea of claws and teeth. They handed me a live one, grey, slick with filth, its tail twitching. Its eyes caught the torchlight, and for a moment, I could swear it knew exactly what was going to happen. The prisoner was tied to the chair, his shirt torn open. His breathing was wild, desperate, half mad. The commander didn't shout, he didn't threaten. He just placed the bucket on the man's chest, open side down, with the rat trapped inside. Then he nodded at me. I held the torch under the base of the bucket. The metal began to glow. The rat started to move, slowly at first, scratching, turning. Then it began to panic. It squealed and clawed, pressing its body against the man's skin. The prisoner started begging. He thrashed, but the ropes held. The commander smiled. He wanted fear, and he wanted them all to hear it. The rat went wild when the bucket grew hot. I could hear it, that high, shrill screech as it tore the only way out. The man's screams mixed with the rat's. It was impossible to tell which was which. He buckled against the chair, veins bulging, his voice breaking into raw animal sound. Then came the smell. Burning hair, scorched flesh. The kind of smell that gets into your teeth, into your hair, and into your dreams. The rat did what rats do. It burrowed and it dug down. There was a tearing sound, not like you'd think, not sharp, not quick. It was slow, wet. I saw blood bloom through his shirt, spreading like ink in water. He stopped screaming after that. The rat didn't. It kept going, blind, mad, desperate for escape, until the commander lifted the bucket. The thing's head was slick with blood, its teeth pink, its whiskers twitching. It scurried out, leaving a trail behind it. The man's chest was open. There was still movement. I remember more than anything that faint twitch, as if his heart hadn't realised that he was dead yet. They left him there. No one cleaned up. The next morning, the rats came back. I left my post that day, packed what little I had, and went home. But the sound followed me, the scratching in the walls, the squeal when I closed my eyes. They said it was justice. They said it kept the others in line. But there are things no man should ever hear, no matter what side he's on. And every night since, when the house is quiet and I hear the rats in the dark, I swear I can still hear him screaming back. So the cruelty of men has always been limited only by imagination, and history is full of proof. Rat torture was recorded as far back as Imperial China, resurfaced during the Dutch Revolt, and was whispered of again in the dungeons of South America centuries later. Some called it interrogation, others called it entertainment. I call it proof that hell doesn't have to be beneath us. Sometimes we build it ourselves. So that was the rat torture. How'd you like that? Yeah, it kind of makes me think of Game of Thrones. There was the tickler, wasn't there? The tickler. The guy that Arya with the little pokey sword, she wants to kill him, tickler. Yeah, I'm sure he did the rat torture in that. So obviously George R.R. Martin hasn't come up with that idea. It's an old torture method. Not quite the brazen bull, but pretty shit. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go through that. Might cover the brazen bull in one of these. So anyway, second story of the night. They're only little short stories, just something I'm having a go at. See if you like it. This is called The Whistler in the Fog. There are places in this world that don't want to be remembered. Fields where nothing grows, roads that seem shorter in daylight, but longer when you drive them home at night. In the north of England, between two forgotten villages, there's one such place, a stretch of road the locals call the Mile of Mist. And if you're unlucky enough to break down there in the middle of the night, you may hear it too, the whistle. I used to drive that route every Thursday. Delivery runs from Preston to Kendal. It's quiet country, hedgerows, winding lanes, fog that rolls in like smoke. I'd heard the stories. Everyone had. People said that they'd seen a man walking in the fog, heard him whistling. Some said it was just the wind through the fences. Others swore it was something else. I didn't believe it, not then, until the night my van broke down. It was past 1 a.m, rain hammering, fog thick as milk. My headlights just bounced back at me. The engine coughed, died, and that was that. In the middle of nowhere, no signal, no passing cars. I sat there for a while, hoping someone might come by, but the only sound was rain on metal, and then something else. A whistle. Low, slow, a tune that I didn't recognize. 3 notes. Rising, falling, rising again. I told myself it was nothing. Wind, maybe a bird. Then I saw movement in the fog. It started as a shadow, human shaped, walking steadily down the road. No torch, no light. I flicked my full beams on, but they just bounced off the fog. I could see him clearer though, tall, wearing something long like a coat. He didn't look up, didn't slow down, just walked straight past my van, still whistling the same 3-note tune. I wound the window down to call out. "You alright, mate?" Nothing. He stopped, and the whistling stopped too. I don't know why, but something in me froze, like my body decided before my brain did. Don't move, don't breathe. The fog around him thickened, like it was clinging to him. Then he turned, slowly. His face, God, I wish I hadn't looked. It wasn't wrong, not at first, just pale, empty. But the longer I looked, the less it seemed like a face at all. The mouth opened far too wide, and that whistle came again. But this time, it was inside the van, right behind me. I spun around, nothing there. Just the back of the van, boxes, shadows. When I turned back, it was gone. Fog everywhere. The road empty. Then, a hand slapped against the outside of the driver's window, long fingers wet. I screamed and kicked the ignition, and the engine started first time. I didn't look back, not once. I drove blind through that fog until I saw the glow of a petrol station half an hour later. Do you know what the bloke behind the petrol station counter said to me? "You've seen him, haven't you?" I didn't even answer, didn't need to. He told me locals didn't drive that stretch of road after dark. Said years ago a man was killed there. A hit and run on a foggy night. The body was never found. They say he whistles to warn drivers now. But if you stop, if you answer him, he remembers. And he comes close enough to see your face. And when that happens, you start hearing the whistle too. In the shower, on the stairs, in the dark. So some say that the whistler is just a ghost, a lonely wanderer trying to be heard. Others believe it's something older, something that just uses the fog to wear the faces of the dead. Either way, if you break down a lonely road and hear someone whistling through the mist, don't look up. Don't open your door, and above all, don't answer back. That's the second story, The Whistler in the Fog. What did you think? Nice wee spooky one. Um, I always like when I hear these stories of people and they say, "Oh, there was a man. I tried to get closer to see what he looked like." Fuck that. Yeah, I'd be gone. Uh, Someone creepy ghoul fucking walking down a road whistling. No, I'm not. I'm gone. I wouldn't have stopped my car. I'd have tried to drive him over, to be honest. So yeah, maybe that's why I don't get haunted. I don't hang around. I don't hang around and long enough for them to see my face. So anyway, so that's first new wee episode, short stories. Keep listening. Like I said, hopefully we'll be back. Maybe James will be back. We'll see. But thanks for listening. Take care. Bye bye.